Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to watch the 4K Steelbook of Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning with me! So go grab some popcorn and something cold to drink. Dun, 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 dun. Hey there guys, welcome back to a brand new movie night. It's been a while, but tonight we're watching the brand new 4K Steelbook of Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, and the only thing more impossible than Tom Cruise's practical stunt work is streaming compression when you watch a great movie, which is why I'm watching the physical copy of this 4K release, which came out October 14th. I love physical media. I even love the way it smells. Does it have a smell? No. Does it have a taste? No. But that's besides the point. The reason I appreciate physical media so much, and if you've been watching me for a while now, you might already know this, or maybe you could tell by the extensive amount of Blu-rays and 4K titles beside me, but the thing about physical media that gets me so excited to watch a movie at home is it feels like a true cinematic experience. You have the case, it has artwork. Ooh, I'm excited. I'm looking at it. It has a tactile function where you can hold it and feel it. And not only that, you own it. It's not on some streaming service where it's going to exist for 2 days and then disappear, and then you have to pay $4.99 to watch it 2 weeks later. No. Once you buy it, you own it forever. And the other great thing is, it's almost therapeutic and slightly cathartic, is when you pop out that optical disc and you slide it into the tray and you push play, there's just nothing better in life than that feeling. If you know what I'm talking about, please let me know down below. Yeah, it's not just a disc, it's a lifestyle. Remember that. And plus it titillates my tactile senses. So when it comes to the Mission Impossible franchise, I'm a huge fan of this franchise. Since the first film in 1996, I've been a fan. And when it comes to the newest film that came out this summer, I did watch it in cinemas. I have a full-fledged review of the movie, so if you want to check that out, I'll put the link down below. If not, that's okay. Just keep watching this video. Okay, so when it comes to the plot of this movie, it's basically Ethan Hunt versus AI-controlled nuclear doom. What more do you need to know? That's it. Welcome to my theater room. This is my popcorn maker. This is probably the best investment I've ever made in my life, and my best advice to you is, if you're going to watch a movie, even if you don't want to eat popcorn, make some, because the aroma of popcorn in the air makes cinema better at home. And if you don't have popcorn, get a popcorn blanket, because snuggling with a blanket just makes movies better too. Now let's watch the movie. Alright, we have to stop and talk about this. One of my favorite action sequences in this film, and probably my favorite, is the nuclear submarine dive from Ethan Hunt. And watching this on my TV at home, with that immersive backlight and the surround sound and the bass and salty buttery popcorn, watching it at home, I think I almost enjoyed it more this time around. And I went back and watched some of the bonus features talking about this sequence and how they pulled it off. And once again, for the most part, it was practical. You actually had Tom Cruise in this huge water tank that they actually had to construct because there was no other water tank on the planet that they could film this sequence in. And also they had to build like a practical submarine and put it in there. It was truly awesome. And that's another thing I want to talk about, is the bonus features on this release are just as interesting as watching the movie itself, because all of the practical stunt work and sequences and how they pulled them off. But we'll talk more about that in just 1 second. But when it comes to this diving sequence, the reason it gives me chills and goosebumps, and even talking about it right now, you can see the little hairs on my arm standing up, is I might have a slight form of thalassophobia. Is that how you say it? Thalassophobia. Okay, yes. It's basically a fear of deep water. And watching Tom Cruise dive into this deep, dark abyss, into this submarine where everything that can go wrong kind of does go wrong, something about that is so eerie and creepy and titillating to me. I loved every second of this sequence. Now this is the part in the video where we have to talk about the next big major action sequence, and that's the biplane or prop plane action sequence where Tom Cruise is hanging onto an airplane for dear life. But I might still prefer the diving sequence underwater just because I find it so much more eerie and atmospheric and it just creeps me out. So that's what I like. But I know a lot of people like this plane sequence. And another thing I found really fascinating when watching the extra features was Christopher McQuarrie was talking about shooting the scene at different times of the day. And initially, they shot it during golden hour, which typically looks better in a movie because it has the perfect lighting, it has the shadows, it just looks right. But during this sequence, it almost made it look fake and artificial, like it was CGI. And he said, I didn't want that to look that way. I didn't want to see any shadows. I wanted to see all the action in frame with nothing hidden. So they shot it at a different time of day, so it had more broad daylight on the sequence. So it didn't look fake or artificial. And I appreciate things like that, and that did not occur to me when I was watching the movie. Even though you shoot something with practical effects and it's all done in frame, it still might look fake to the audience. And you have to think of another way to shoot it so it even looks more real than it is. And I found that fascinating. And once again, this is one of my favorite things about physical media is the bonus features. I find them just as entertaining as the movie sometimes, especially with a movie like this. There's tons on air. You have commentary by director Christopher McQuarrie and Tom Cruise, deleted shots montage, taking flight, filming the biplane sequence, inside the underwater stunt, and much more. So when it comes to the bonus features of this release, I obviously didn't watch every single one of them because I only have so much time in the day, but I did watch a few that I was interested in, and don't get me wrong, at some point on a cold rainy night, I will get another bucket of popcorn and finish those bad boys off. But the one I found really fascinating, outside of the multiple sequences we've already talked about, was there are no fully deleted scenes or sequences on the bonus features. You only have deleted footage. And then you have an audio track by Christopher McQuarrie talking about those sequences and why they were removed from the film. And a lot of it made a lot of sense. A lot of it was just filler or a narrative sort of side plot that you didn't quite need. But there was one small little detail that I found truly fascinating, and it was where you have a sequence and it's Tom Cruise getting out of an elevator, just walking down a hallway. And they shot that multiple times with different lighting rigs and different setups to get it visually just right because they weren't quite sure what they wanted the movie to look like. So the first one sort of looked a bit flat and standard. And then in the next one, you have more lens flare and like red blinking lights in the backdrop. And it's sort of overall the tone and atmosphere that I feel like the movie looks like. So little things like that I find super interesting. And if you're the same way, I definitely think you could spend an entire day just watching the special features on this release. Now, here are my final flicking thoughts on the 4K Steelbook release of Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. Now, this isn't a review of the movie. I've already done that, so I'm not going to talk about the plot or the story or the acting. But I do want to talk about the overall release and the picture quality and the audio quality. And if I had to give that a grade, I would give it that right there. This is a phenomenal looking 4K Blu-ray ultra high definition release. When it comes to the picture quality of Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning on 4K, I don't think I have any critiques other than to say it looked phenomenal. This was shot digitally, but it looks like it was almost shot on film. It looks so cinematic and immersive, and there's an atmosphere and a scope to the movie. It just lit up every pixel on my OLED TV and looked phenomenal. And when you get into those big action set pieces and sequences, it's everything an action movie should be. And I think I'm gonna have to say the same thing about the audio quality. The Dolby Atmos sounded phenomenal. My surround sound was firing, especially during the biplane sequence. You could hear the motors rumbling. The entire room was rumbling. My ass was rumbling. It was a phenomenal experience, and I can't recommend it enough. But it was awesome. And then you have the score that swells up. So yeah, if you like Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, I think you're going to love the 4K release of this movie. I feel like I liked the movie more watching it at home on 4K than I did watching it in the theater. And I know that sounds crazy and bizarre, but I'm just gonna stand by it. Alright, so those are my thoughts on the Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning 4K Steelbook, which is available now, so definitely check it out if you haven't already. I can't recommend it enough. As always, guys, leave your thoughts, your opinions down below. What did you think about this movie, and are you going to pick up the physical copy of it? Because in my opinion, that is the only right way to watch the movie. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. I'm going to take this with me, I'm going to take this with me, and I'm definitely going to take this with me. And I'll see you guys next time.